When I first met Martha and she told me of her plans to help the people of McKeesport tell their stories after losing their newspaper, I was keen to help. The Mon Valley, and especially McKeesport, is a great example of why stories matter. As a non-native of this region, I've been told a lot of stories about this place. Most people talk about two McKeesports, this one that used to exist and the one that exists now.
I started down the stairs to see what the ringing was all about. I could hear my mother from the kitchen saying, "Oh my, it's the umbrella man." To me, he was someone out of the past, but still had a claim on him. This man bucked the idea of automation and the modern world concept of advanced machinery and fast cars. With the bell ringing and my glimpse of yesteryear fading up the street, I returned to my paper, still musing about the umbrella man.
We held our breath as we heard him put his key in the door. Suddenly, the door flew open and he walked in. "Surprise," he said. "Daddy!" We yelled with delight as we rushed towards him, nearly knocking each other over. What was his surprise for us? A beautiful winter sled. We rode our sled down the top of the hill. We hugged each other and Daddy hugged us again. "I'll bet the angels were watching us," cried Chevy. "How do you know?" I asked. "Oh, that's because the angels were sprinkling big sacks of snow across the sky for us," he said. Then it began to snow all the more.
In my parents' long life together, the only thing that ever came between them was my dad's obsessive love for the Pink Lady. Stylish yet powerful. She was a 1957 Pontiac Super Chief. His right foot pressed down on the long black rubber gas pedal. The hum of the engine grew deeper and deeper as the cornstalks began to move faster and faster. The silver needle on the speedometer edged clockwise to 60, to 70, to 80. As the needle moved to the right, the smile on my dad's face grew broader. He was in his element. As he edged past 90, I could see his problems evaporate, sucked away in the slipstream of air sliding over the pink skin of the Super Chief. He seemed to know that he would never have another car like her. He seemed to know that he had reached the apogee of his life, that while he would own other great cars and that he had a lot to look forward to in life, he would never experience anything as powerful or as grand as the Pink Lady again.
I know families don't have perfection in their lives, but I thought my family was one of the least perfect families in the world. We have a history of divorce, alcoholism, addiction, mental health issues, and great loss. My brother David was an alcoholic, and it was tragic to see how his life deteriorated. When deciding what memorial card to print, a feeling of warmth surrounded me. It felt like my brother hugged me, quietly saying, "I'm sorry, I love you all." It's never easy to heal ourselves, but through the chaos, I found comfort, knowing we are loved. Isn't that what's most important?
We had gotten there early in the morning, and I totally regret not eating so much now. You have no idea. It's almost midnight, and we decide to do an emergency C-section. I'm scared. I start to cry. This is not what I wanted. This was not my plan. Despite the ordeal of having to stay in the hospital for a week due to leaking spinal fluid and needing a lumbar patch, I will do it all again for our sweet little girl, whose name is Ashley.
We had gone out about 3 miles and turned around to come back to our car. On the way back, we saw a woman, easily in her 80s, walking an enormous dog on a thin tan rope. "Well, he was abandoned at the house next door, so I've been feeding and walking him every day," she said. "Oh, how nice. Does he live with you now?" I asked. "Nope, he lives in his doghouse next door. I just go over," she said. So there Woodrow sat in his doghouse along the bike trail, still. Officer Fred said to give him another week. When I checked back, he said he hadn't been able to get to the area to talk to the couple again. And then he said something that changed Woodrow's life forever. "It would honestly be best if a concerned citizen took that dog and gave him a good home," he said. If a concerned citizen did that and got caught, would they go to jail or get fined for stealing this dog? I asked casually. Not on my watch, said Officer Fred. Thank you, I said hurriedly, already planning Woodrow's escape via dog napping. The next day, my husband was working at a nursing home and speaking with the business director. He shared that we had rescued a dog, a big dog, and were hoping to find him a home. In the best twist of fate ever, she replied, "Oh, wow, my fiancé and I have been looking to adopt a dog before we got married, and I grew up with big dogs. I'd love to meet him." We may have picked Woodrow up at his worst, abandoned in a doghouse along the bike trail, but we left Woody with the best, a life in a caring home with a family that now loves him.
During my years of growing up with autism, I've never found what I would fit into. I found out that the creator of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri, is autistic too, with ASD, which stands for Autism Spectrum Disorder. In fact, I learned a lot of people from our history and celebrities that we grew up with also have autism, and also what makes me a geek. Ever since I discovered these people who have autism, I've never been ashamed of being autistic again. Don't be ashamed, embrace your differences. Be proud of your disabilities, be proud for who you are. Be proud of who you are, for you are not alone. Be true inside. Don't hide it, don't fight it, show it. Be you, be yourself. I wear blue to this day to show my support of autism. I'm proud of who I am proud to be autistic.
It was the first day of middle school and I was petrified. I had to walk through the 8th grade wing. I walked and walked, expecting to get made fun of. I was preparing to hear the words, "Look at the little 6th graders," but nothing. I could only hear the chatter of students. I was so hypnotized by it that I didn't notice the lockers in front of me. In my defense, I was shoved a little. I run into them and everyone laughs. I then ran into my language class. 2 more periods passed and I was nodding off, ready for the day to be over. But then I come across the same door that had scared me at the beginning of the day. But this time I was greeted, and she remembered my name. I felt weird. Anyone else would be happy the day was over, but I wasn't. Silently in dismay, I walked home and it dawned on me. I was so worried about the 8th graders, but the real enemy was the bell.